Hello and welcome to a brand new Mind Mastery video. In today's video, I'm going to try to address the 3 common obstacles to the process of self-actualization. So basically this process where we grow and develop as an individual, which is essentially based on stepping outside of our comfort zone, stepping outside of what is familiar, and becoming the best version of ourselves that we can imagine or that we can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to address each obstacle one by one, and at the same time I'm going to try to provide some tips on how we can address these obstacles that might be blocking this process of growth. So the first obstacle, which I think is quite common to this process, is basically our attachment or clinginess to what is familiar, what is known, what is comfortable. So basically we would like things to stay the same way. We would like to, feel comfortable within our environment, with ourselves, so that perhaps we can avoid anxiety, perhaps we can avoid, various challenges which might provoke this anxiety within us. But basically this drive to stay within our comfort zone is what often blocks people. So basically if you try to stay with what is familiar, what is comfortable, you won't be able to grow because you are blocking this novelty and challenges coming to your life, which are actually outside of your comfort zone. That's how we learn. That's how we move forward in life. When we step outside of what is familiar and step outside of what is comfortable to us. So I think, in my opinion, what we can do in order to address this obstacle, especially if you identify this drive within you. Actually, we all have this drive, but it's a matter of how much we allow it to control our life. In order to overcome this obstacle, I think the best we can do is to try to relinquish some of our control. So basically, let go and try to realize that you can't control absolutely everything in your life. So even if you do try to control, even if you do have some control over your life, the more you control it, the more rigid your life will become, the more rigid you will become, and the more rigid this boundary separating yourself from the outside world will become. And as a result, it will be difficult to introduce novel things from the environment and obviously learn. So trying to relinquish some control, trying to let go, trying to, in a sense, respect your anxiety or respect your fears, but move forward regardless. So acknowledging that, okay, I'm scared of this, I have anxiety about this. We all have different fears, we all have different anxieties, and there's nothing wrong with that. What matters is that whether you have courage to acknowledge them, whether you feel strong enough to say that yeah, okay, I have these fears, but I can move forward regardless. So knowing what your comfort zone is, acknowledging your fears, and then moving forward regardless, it's something that could help you to address this block on the path of self-actualization. The next block that is quite common to this process of growth and self-actualization is disowning various parts of ourselves. So basically, lack of self-acceptance, poor self-esteem, poor confidence, all these behaviors and beliefs that aim to keep you in the same place. So if you don't have confidence that you can move forward, or if you constantly criticize yourself or have a problem with certain parts of yourself, that's something that will keep you in the same place. So what it means is basically having a set beliefs about yourself that, for example, you can't move forward, you don't deserve. Perhaps you have a problem with certain parts of yourself which you try to push away, you try to basically disown in a sense, or try to fix it, compulsively fix it via, therapy, coaching, or simply self-development. So when you don't accept yourself as you are in a whole way, as a whole person, you're going to be wasting your energy onto things that don't really matter. So imagine you have a part of yourself that you don't accept and you have a problem. You have a problem with certain behavior, you have a problem with your certain habits or tendencies or drives that you are having. Instead of moving your life forward, instead of growing as a person and learning about yourself, you wasting your energy onto trying to fix this one part of yourself, this one drive, this one habit. So I think it's an obstacle to self-actualization because it prevents you from knowing yourself, from using all the resources that you have and investing them into growth and development. So moving outside your comfort zone, learning and gaining new experiences. Because if you're constantly trying to fix yourself, that's quite contrary to the attitude of accepting yourself. And I know there might be some concerns in regard to, for example, having a bad habit. What do we do about that? Well, having a bad habit and disowning a whole part of yourself are quite two different things. So a bad habit could be a manifestation of the part of yourself that you don't accept. So instead of trying to fix the habit, why don't you learn more about this part of yourself? What is this part of you driven you to do? What is it motivating you to do? What does it want? What is the drive? And basically, the more you shed light onto your unconscious mind, onto your shadow, the more energy will become available to you. Because in that case, you will not be using just your ego to move forward in life, but you will motivate the whole forces of your psyche as you shed the light of your conscious mind onto the unconscious. And the reason why self-acceptance is important, because if you start fighting this part of you, if you start fighting the unconscious, it's gonna go against you, right? So you need to become somewhat friends with parts of you that you don't really like, so that both you, your ego and your conscious mind want the same thing that the unconscious mind. So all of your parts, all parts of your mind are going towards the same direction, not going into opposite sides, not going into opposite directions, not pulling yourself into doing completely contradictory things. So having this harmony between different parts of you is something that you want to achieve on this path of self-actualization in order to move forward as a whole person. Now, the last obstacle I'd like to address is having an external locus of control. So what it means is that instead of taking a full responsibility for yourself, for your feelings, for your thoughts, behaviors, you try to blame other people or you try to blame external world for making you feel in a particular way, making you behave in a particular way, or simply making you do certain things that you don't want to do. So external locus of control is basically attributing the causes of your behavior to external world, in short. So when something bad happens to you, you blame the world. And also I think it kind of links to extrinsic motivation. So basically you do things because you expect external rewards. I know these are two separate concepts, but I think they are tied together because in both situations we are looking outside. We are looking outward to provide the guidance and responsibility for our actions. So why is it blocking the process of self-actualization? Well, if you're disowning your feelings, if you don't acknowledge the causes and the consequences of your behaviors, but you try to push it away to the external world, when you're not accountable for your actions, but you look for accountability elsewhere and outside of yourself, you're losing energy again. And the same really applies to having extrinsic motivation. So when you're looking for external rewards, when you do things in your life only to gain approval, money, respect, acknowledgement, recognition, all these external rewards. And the moment you stay alone, the moment all other people disappear, the moment all external rewards disappear, you'll be like, okay, so what do I do now? I have no reason to do these things because nobody is watching. There's no potential reward in the external world. So I might as well just give up. And that will obviously block the process of self-actualization because you are not moving forward. You are not growing. You are staying in the same place. So I think the answer to that would be to simply flip it. So in terms of control, an external locus of control, you flip it to an internal world. So you take responsibility for all your feelings. When you feel in a particular way, even if it might seem like the other person is, winding you up, you still acknowledge that, okay, this is my reaction, this is my response to this situation, these are my feelings, I'm causing them because I have a particular interpretation of the situation. So instead of pushing everything away onto other people, you say that, okay, I'm feeling that way, I'm having these thoughts and beliefs because I'm choosing to. Maybe that choice is not always available to you. Again, it comes back to this, what your unconscious mind wants. But again, it's coming all from you. Nobody is making you feel in a particular way, but you can choose what to do with that reactions that you are having. And the same applies to having an intrinsic motivation. So why you do certain things in your life. I know the rewards in the external world are quite tempting, but if they disappeared and if other people, stopped paying attention to what you're doing, what would you do? What would be the motivation? What would be your values? What would be contributing to having the state of mind when you are alone, you wake up in the morning and you say that, okay, life is worth living. I want to do this and this and that because I want to. Not because other people are telling me, not because there are these rewards in the external world, but because I want to, because I have something to gain that is available only to me and that is coming only from me and from my private or personal relationship with external world, something that other people are not necessarily seeing. So it's something that could be related to growth and development or to the process of self-actualization. Perhaps it could be something about overcoming certain blocks or some obstacles in your life. Perhaps it's about learning and developing as a person. So this was my short take on the blocks to the process of self-actualization. If you're interested in private coaching, let me know and we can schedule a session. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.